It is so good to hear that music. The Panenka View is back for season two. The first time we are starting with a whole new season and buzzing right now because the Premier League is back. Yes, you heard me right. I am your host Prasad. If you haven't forgotten, it's been a while since we recorded an episode. And it's so good to be back on the Panenka View podcast. The Premier League is back and I have a very special guest with me, Vinay Dhareshwar, who is a Chelsea fan who will now be introducing himself in detail. Vinay, can we have your introduction?
Yeah, hi Prasad. Thank you for having me on the Panenka View podcast. It is the 49th episode, is that right?
Yeah, it is the 49th episode.
It
Yeah.
is the 49th episode and welcome guys. It's been a while since the football season got over and now it started again. And I hope all of you are buzzing because it's going to be a very intense season. So little introduction about myself. I'm Vinay Dhareshwar. And I've been a Chelsea fan since 2007, and
Hmm.
I have watched each and every game possible. I'm a part of Chelsea India, and I go for a few screenings. We go for football, etc. And also, I'm currently working as a digital marketing and social media head for Forza India Academy, who's a grassroots football academy.
Yeah, and just a heads up, guys, keep that name in mind, Forza India, because we are going to have a very special episode with the founders of Forza India soon on the podcast, and Vinay is a part of that. So, Vinay, like you rightly mentioned, buzzing right now, and
Yeah.
the Premier League is back. 9 months of roller coaster. Footballing
Oh,
action, joy, sorrow, emotion, goosebumps,
definitely, yeah.
long ranges, good saves, a
Mhm.
lot of that.
Mhm.
But let's get to business straight away. Let's get down to
Yeah, yeah,
business.
yes, please.
And we're recording just like 2 hours before the
Mhm.
first match, which is Liverpool versus Norwich.
Norwich, yeah.
And we slowly are going to give our viewers what they can expect from the Premier League this weekend. And
Mhm.
also, let's preview the big one from Sunday, which is Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Huge game.
I wish we had a United supporter here, but so going forward, so on and so forth, let's do a mashup of the two rivals going forward again. So,
Yeah.
Vinay, firstly, Liverpool versus Norwich is the first game, a 12:30 a.m. kickoff, which is a Saturday early morning here in India,
Yes.
Friday night game in UK.
Mhm.
What do you make of that fixture? Klopp's men falling short of the title, 1 point. Just, in any season, in any of the last 25 seasons, 27 seasons,
Yeah.
if you score that point tally, you're champions 25 out of 27 times.
Mhm.
And the only 2 times you cannot win is because it's Manchester City. So what do you make of Liverpool's squad this season and how will they approach having been a bit idle in the transfer
Mhm.
market?
Firstly, Liverpool and Man City are really on some other level right now. For the past 2 seasons, they have been going head to head, and it's been incredible watching them play. Liverpool, even though Liverpool haven't signed players, a lot. Right now, their squad is really good enough to, challenge and go for it once again. Um, if you observe what happened throughout last season, they were competing with City, and City was also they weren't losing even one game and stuff like that.
Yeah, in the
With their
business half.
squad,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if the best part is like they have very energy, they play with really high energy. They have incredible pressing, and the defense is strong, especially after signing Van Dijk and Alisson.
Yeah.
And of course, their front three of Mane, Firmino, and Salah are incredible. And generally, the work which goes off, which generally the attention goes off is from the midfield because midfield drives them literally. Wijnaldum and Fabinho and who else is
Henderson, Keita,
Henderson,
yeah,
Keita, yeah.
yeah.
So and now they have a massive boost. It's almost like new signings because Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is coming back, Lallana is coming back, and they have like enough of a squad to challenge again for the title.
So two quick points that I need to mention here is the signings of Van Dijk and Alisson. I keep on saying that they invested the Coutinho money brilliantly, and
Yes.
at the right end of the pitch where they needed someone in defense, and my God, they got Van Dijk, and he's literally changed the face of the Liverpool defense. And a handy player in FPL along with Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And the other thing is the front three of Firmino, Salah and Mane, deadly as usual. Also the squad players like you mentioned, Oxlade-Chamberlain is coming back. He can prove very handy. I mean, he can play as a central midfielder. He can play on the wings. His strength obviously being the central midfield. And you also have Xherdan Shaqiri, who's a very good squad player to have. So, and history suggests that Norwich end up being battered by Liverpool. And Liverpool, aka Luis Suarez, he loved scoring against them. So the first game sees Liverpool versus Norwich. And then let's move on to Saturday. And I know you are clearly waiting for the time we move on to Sunday for the big one, because I have some other questions also for you regarding the Chelsea squad and the manager. But moving on to Saturday, Vinay, it's Manchester City's the early kickoff. It's a last kickoff in UK. And we have to give our viewers what happens on Saturday. So Manchester City travel away to West Ham. West Ham also having done some significant business in the transfer.
Beautiful signings.
But let's focus on Manchester City. And the squad depth is impeccable. And right now it's looking like 3 titles in a row, isn't it?
It definitely is, because you see them signing the likes of João Cancelo and I mean
Rodri, the Rodrigo from Atleti.
Rodri, and they are the under 25 squad is completely insane. With especially someone like Gundogan signing a contract, and they have amazing players. Bernardo Silva's work rate is immense. KDB, another amazing player. Everybody's amazing in that team. I think the only downside, the bad luck for them, I can say, is that Sane is out for a few months because of an ACL right now. And which is quite bad for them. But otherwise, they still have quite incredible depth. Like they still have Mendy at left back. And they have players who can play at multiple positions.
They have Mahrez, and Sterling is on fire, and Gabriel Jesus can play with Aguero.
You can keep on going for
hours. So I was looking at the squad, and literally I could name at least 3 players in one position. If you narrow it down to that, I could name at least 3. Minimum 2, obviously 2, because you have to have a very good backup. So they've got a backup, they've got a first class backup for their first team, and that's what you expect from the owners, and that's what you expect from the manager, to have that freedom and have that say in the transfer market. But it's been good. I think Pep Guardiola has done a fantastic job at Manchester City. He's considerably brought down the average age to under 25. And he's been doing that at clubs, although he's been called a checkbook manager, but he significantly balances that over a period of time. That's another issue. That's another topic for debate. But moving on to the next team, which is on from Saturday. And it's a late kickoff for Spurs, by the way. Spurs versus Aston Villa. Both of us smiling. I know if there was a Tottenham fan here. Arch rivals, So Spurs versus Aston Villa. Aston Villa, meanwhile, spending 144 million pounds in the transfer market. Spurs doing some brilliant business there. Ndombele, Lo Celso, Ryan Sessegnon, and quite significantly retaining the services of Dele Alli, Eriksen, Lamela, Kane, and Heung-min Son. Although the selling transfer
Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moura, who just signed a 4-year deal. That's the hottest news that has come on in the transfer market. But when bearing the sales that might happen in the next few days, I think the selling window is still on.
September, I think it's September and 5th, I think.
Have Spurs significantly improved over last season? Is it too early to say? Do the signings suggest that they are in the right direction?
Um, being, I'm going to be honest. I'll try to be as neutral as possible, coming from a Chelsea fan. But honestly, I like the way Pochettino manages. His team is really like whichever team he coaches, he does. He's done a amazing job with not having signings go his way. He's got it after almost like 2 seasons. The
Hmm.
signings he wanted, and or to build the squad. And if you go to see from a very footballing perspective, they are a very good side actually. And Ericsson is the creator there. Heung-min Son is like that awesome energy.
Yeah.
Harry Kane just scores 20 goals for fun at times. And you have Lucas Moura now. He can play as a support striker. He plays as number 10. He can play anywhere almost. And obviously their main support system was their fallbacks, and obviously Loris and their centre backs are good, but that backline of the fullbacks of there were Trippier and Davies doing last season, but then Rose has come in.
Yeah.
And now they only have Kyle Walker-Peters, but they have signed Ryan Sessegnon also,
Yeah.
and obviously the left back, but they
Yeah,
managed to play.
so naturally, I think Pochettino will be doing his homework there as to who
Very.
to play in the right back position, and over and over, he's a magnificent coach. If you
No worries.
so Pochettino has been a magnificent manager. If you look at the work he's done over the past few years with the budget that he has to his disposal.
Yeah.
And the way he's got Spurs into the Champions League for 3 seasons now, finished above their arch rivals Arsenal. Without signing a player, I think they are headed in the right direction. Obviously, only time will tell whether they can pay off those stadium debts and still continue to be in the top four. That is a totally different issue. But I think for now, Spurs are all set for a top four finish, if not lower, top four. Which takes me to their arch rivals, Arsenal. And over the 48 episodes have been so neutral, and I'm going to be the same for for this episode as well. And it's as an Arsenal fan personally, after that thumping Europa loss, we were dreaming about Fraser and we were dreaming about Carrasco, and Raul Sanley has come up like risen like Jesus, and he's delivered such a magnificent transfer window. I mean, he's sold off the deadwood, majority of them, and he's brought in 6 faces. He's brought in Nicolas Pepe, who's one for the future. And if he's destroyed Ivan Gazidis' legacy in one transfer window. What do you make of Arsenal's transfer window, Vinay?
Honestly, like, they've done really great business, leaving up, especially the parts like, their signing of someone like Pepe, and they've actually managed to build on the squad they already have.
Yeah.
And they also signed Alex Tierney.
Yeah.
And,
Kieran Tierney, left back. Kieran Tierney, left back, who they was chased all around the transfer market. Like since the first day of the window, he was rumored to be linked with us, and it went on until the last day where he had his medical along with David Luiz, who's joined us.
Oh God.
So David Luiz, Kieran Tierney come in defense, and a wonderful signing in William Saliba, who's obviously loaned to Saint Etienne, and he will join Arsenal back next year, but he's quite young and he's got his peak years ahead of himself.
Yeah.
So the other 2 signings, Nicolas Pepe and Dani Ceballos. Having seen Dani Ceballos, very hungry on the ball, looking to keep possession, looking to thread in those through balls, a mixture of, I would say, Cazorla and Cesc Fabregas, and pretty much the Spanish prodigy, I should say, that Arsenal were missing for a couple of seasons. And he's given me that Cazorla is feeling once again. Only if he can start regularly and keep on performing on that level, it is a different issue. But wonderful to be, and we are missing out Gabriel Martinelli, who's a Brazilian youngster. Keep your eyes out on them, and also a quick mention to Reece Nelson, who's a very good Arsenal youngster coming through the ranks, and if this might just be his rise, his season where he rises. You never know. And on the significant departures, we've had Alex Iwobi, who's departed 40 million euros, and Koscielny, the long-serving centre back, who was the king of our defense, who held the defense firm almost whenever before it faltered, has also moved on to Bordeaux. So and Ospina has gone to Napoli,
and obviously even Ramsey.
Yeah, Ramsey has gone to Juventus. Dagger in the heart. But to be very honest, 9 out of 10 for Raul Sanlehi and Vinay and Huss Fahmy, who have done such magnificent job in the transfer window. I must say, Raul Sanlehi knows what he wants to do, and he gets the job done. I mean, I wouldn't want to go into what he did at Barcelona, but he's known for sealing the deal. We all know what he did with the Neymar deal. Yeah. So, all in all, Arsenal in the right direction against Newcastle, who don't have Rafael Benitez now. But it's an away game, and it's always going to be a test for the Gunners. So let's wait for the match and move on to the big one from Sunday, where Vinay was clearly buzzing since the first minute to come to this point. And it's Manchester United versus Chelsea. Well, if you're a 90s kid and you started watching football in the 2000s, you are no stranger to the Manchester United versus Chelsea fixture, which is one of the biggest footballing rivalries, if not the biggest. One of the biggest, certainly one of the biggest in those times. Obviously, with managers going off and with players leaving, it kind of, came down, but it's one of the biggest in England, sorry. And Vinay, your thoughts on the match, your predicted lineup, and who do you think will come out on top? A lot of questions for you here.
Yeah. So I'm going to start right from the beginning that, Lampard coming in as coach, one of the most loved, obviously there are many loved legends, but one of the most loved has come and he's managed, and just 1 year into his managing career from Derby County, he's managed, he managed to do really, really well, and I can say I'm really proud of him. And when that announcement happened, even though the things which happened with Sarri, I tend not to look about what happened in the past. It's like, it's more important to look about what happens in the future. And when Lampard came in, I was really excited that, finally a change is coming in, and a change in the sense that, especially when a ex-player becomes a manager, he loves to see it from the perspective of the players. He can see it from a managing perspective. He can understand what the players need.
Absolutely.
Since coming from Chelsea, and he knows the academy product well, and especially getting his staff like Joe Edwards, Jody Morris, Chris Jones, Eddie Newton, everyone coming back. So quickly wrapping that up, I would say that on the coaching staff, they did a very good thing. And from the preseason games, like we'll come to the business side of it, in the preseason games, there is one thing which Lampard mentioned, that he wants everyone to give their full effort.
Yeah, 100%, 100% on the pitch,
Yeah, no compromise. And the best part is there is no fixed 11 there. If you show it in training, you will get to be on the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
According to what Lampard said.
And
the best part is that the reason why I love Lampard's style of play, what he is starting or what he's trying to inculcate within Chelsea right now, is that he's bringing in a lot of youth, which are not only, some say, they are hyped, but it's not their hype. They have been talked about for a reason, because they are incredible at their standards. They are ready to play at this level. And someone like, someone as simple, we have huge list of names, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Loftus Cheek were injured, sadly, right?
Yeah,
Exciting prospects like Reece James and Tomori and Mason Mount,
yeah.
everyone coming through, which is like immense because Mount worked with Lampard at Derby last season, and it was really incredible. And coming to the formations from the preseason games, I would say the defense needs a lot of work. Of course, it does, because when any new manager comes in, the defense is one of the things to be sorted, and it's not easy to be done. Like coming from looking at coaches, even though it's just grassroots, you understand that everything takes time. Even though if it's at a very senior level, it still takes time to inculcate your ideas. You need to understand the player rapport. You
Hmm.
need to understand, the players need to understand each other's positioning. They need to know where that person is, what that person, of my, my midfielder likes, my winger likes. So,
Yeah.
give it on their left foot, give it on their right foot, give them there, they will be there. That sort of thing only comes with time and practice. And the formation mainly, I would say, the most notable two formations were the most beautifully balanced 4-2-3-1,
Hmm.
with currently Georgino Kovacic playing as the two right now, double pivot there.
Yeah.
But with Kante injured and Loftus-Cheek injured, etc., they couldn't obviously play.
Hmm.
Uh, but in the three, the best part was that was one of the formation, the three where Pulisic can play left, right, middle,
Hmm.
support striker anywhere. Then the likes of Pedro, who's an amazing. He's sometimes it seems like he's inconsistent, but he's a really good player. He still has it. Then obviously Mason Mount, Barkley, who played really well in the preseason.
And
And winning.
honestly, I'm looking forward to Barkley because I think the kid has a lot of potential. And
Yes,
with a manager like Frank Lampard,
Lampard. Yeah.
yeah, who's ready to give the youth a chance
Hmm.
and ready
Yes.
to give young players a chance, I
Hmm.
think this could be Barkley's season. I've taken him in my FPL team,
Yeah. Same.
and that guy could really turn out to be. We are looking at Kovacic, we are looking at Jorginho, and we are looking at Kante.
Beautiful.
But
Yeah.
I feel Barkley can make a big impact this season,
Yeah. Yeah. Barkley.
and
Barkley
along
along with Mount.
and it's going to be a huge responsibility on the shoulders of Pulisic,
Hmm.
especially because Hazard's not there now
Hmm.
and he has moved on. So, how do you see Hazard's void being filled? And what did you make of his 7 year, 6 or 7 years at Chelsea, Vinay?
So, as we all know, Hazard is one of the top five players or top three players. However people want to look at it, that's debatable. But I would say that he was an incredible player, game changer. He loved to play for fun, and he looked for assists more than goals, which was clear. But he still managed to score goals. Um, when it comes to replacing, before that, I would like to say that his 7 years was an incredible time at Chelsea. I mean, to even have a player like Hazard at your club,
Hmm.
even after Madrid trying to,
Lure him
there
away
was
for all
some
these
time.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They were behind. Everybody was behind Hazard. They were like, give us Hazard, give us Hazard. But the fact that he stayed with us, and when the moment he had a decision, it was because of his behavior, his professional attitude, his, him as a person, genuine person, that, it was a very sweet departure. Nobody had any ill feelings about it, even though we felt bad. Obviously, you're
Yeah.
losing the star player. But if you go to see the way he departed, and everybody sent only love, right from the coaching staff,
Correct.
the board, the fans, himself. He wrote that emotional letter.
Yeah.
I'm getting goosebumps right now because I'm thinking about it. And he's uh, he was he's irreplaceable. Let's say that he's irreplaceable. Uh,
And to be very honest, I mean, he's done everything there is in a blue shirt, except for I think
everything.
the Champions League. He joined the next
Champions
season
League.
and he
Yeah.
won the Europa League,
Hmm.
isn't it? Oh no,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't there. Yeah, he came that year, after that year, yeah.
13, 14, right? 13,
Yeah,
14. Yeah.
yeah.
So he's won the league,
Hmm.
won two league
FA
titles.
Cups,
You've won
FA
FA
Cups
Cups, Europa
and
League, yeah,
Premier League,
Premier
etc.
League.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, but fantastic stuff. And I think I'm very happy for Hazard that, he got his wish to work, especially under Zidane, his idol, and at a team like Madrid. And I wish him all the very best. Hope he really succeeds and hope he finally wins a Ballon d'Or, which everybody's been wanting. And regarding the void, I would say that I feel that every team has a star player, but in my perspective, whenever a star player leaves, it the team starts thinking about sharing responsibilities more. They know there is no one to get you out of a mess.
Yeah.
They know that we have to step up. So everybody knows that they have to stand up for themselves. You don't have to say that.
Yeah.
And even though I really condone the abuse Willian gets. I really
Hmm.
even I condone the hate Alonso gets or anyone gets, like, because they are your players in the end. You have to support them
Correct.
no
Fans
matter
tend
what.
fans tend to go overboard sometimes.
Oh, horrible.
And yeah, and we all know one of your crazy fans who shouts a lot.
We shall not mention his name right now.
Yeah, the name that has not to be spoken, but great message, Vinay. I mean, after all, they are your players wearing your jersey. No matter whatever the criticism, I think the fine line between criticism and abuse should be
Abuse.
maintained.
Very big line, and it's crossed often, but that's the world of social media today. That's the world of most people not having patience. It's like if a player is picked and he's playing and supposing he misses something, was he the one to say that, did he go over to the coach and say that, pick me only, let me perform, because of that, it's the managers, they're looking after training. The head coach is there who's looking after, they are training throughout the week. They are planning for the match. They're understanding, etc. So I feel that everybody is going to take a share, someone right from the youngsters who know how big a loss Hazard is.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for the youngsters because they are under a really good manager who trusts them.
Exactly.
You have a balance of senior players, like Aspilicueta and even Rudiger is coming to frame. Jorginho is a very good leader.
Yeah. And your goalkeeper is a fantastic manager as well.
Kepa, yeah.
No.
that let's not speak about that. Kepa is brilliant. Even he's young.
I'm sorry, I have a habit of poking because we've all grown like this in the last 48 episodes. Back and forth. We have our banters.
It's fine.
I mean, you could tell me, you could tell me when are the shampoo ads starting at Arsenal, and you could tell me that Mustafi and Ruiz in defense, gargantuan legacy in defense starting with Mustafi and Ruiz. But Vinay, to cut things short now. And because we are currently kind of disappointing the Manchester United fans because we have spoken everything Chelsea and
United support.
we've spoken everything Chelsea and we have to speak about United. United clearly one of the most frustrated fan bases this transfer window.
Oh yeah.
Despite signing Maguire and Van Bissaka and Daniel James from Swansea early on in the transfer window. Missing out on Dybala, that deal went off. Juventus did not sell it to any of the Premier League clubs. But what did you make of their transfer window and what does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have to offer this season? We all know what happened last season. I mean, it began with Ole's at the wheel and then the wheel kind of came off and it went somewhere. So
I would say that honestly, they have everybody, like the top six, they all have a potential to, they are called the top six for a reason. And I look at the United squad, and right now even if they are frustrated, I think they still have a quite decent squad. And as you all know, let's be honest, City, Liverpool are in some other dimension there.
Yeah, on a different level altogether.
Yeah. So the other four teams who are managing for the top four are going to battle for those four places. But United, I can say that, even they have they have good academy products. Someone like Greenwood, right?
Yeah,
Mason
yeah,
Greenwood.
Greenwood.
So he's coming out from the academy and he's apparently very highly rated.
Yeah,
And they also have, now Martial is, now, even though Lukaku left right now,
yeah,
they have Rashford, they have
Martial.
Lingard,
Yeah,
Martial.
and Rashford's getting a lot of salary, I heard, and clearly that indicates that he's going to be pushed a lot this season.
Yeah, he has to be because he's the main number 9. There is no other 9 beside him.
Yeah. I
And
think Martial can also fit in there along with the wings. I saw a lot of good happening
yeah. He
along
was. Mhm.
along with the number 9 position. I think along with the
Mhm.
wings, he also fits in well at the number 9 position.
Yeah, it depends on how they play, and now it's a very big task and challenge for Ole to get actually to actually make them play that way and understand, how who suits where, how they play, especially with an incredible defender like Van Bissaka,
Yeah.
who's his tackle winning rate is amazing.
Yeah, and he's
Um,
risen he's risen to a new level last season at Palace. And
Definitely.
yeah,
And having someone like, even though right now, currently the Pogba dilemma seems to be in the balance. You don't know whether they call it a cramp, but what has happened, we don't know.
yeah.
And
I heard a few United supporters going bizarre, crazy, saying that we are one Pogba injury away from doomsday. Yeah, but
yeah,
he's that important of a player to that Manchester United side. I mean, barring his haircuts and
yeah,
everything that he does, he offers a lot. I mean,
yeah.
if you've seen Pogba play live, which I have in
Mhm.
Russia against Australia, I think he was the one. Kante does a brilliant job of retaining the ball
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
distributing the ball well. But Pogba takes that extra step. He's obviously the central attacking midfielder who's going to take that extra step forward and
Mhm.
drive the attack along with the wingers and with the help of the number 9
Mhm.
construct that attack. And if you all remember that one Manchester City game where so United were 2-0
Oh
down
yeah,
and
yeah.
Pogba was the reason they came back into the game. And
Mhm.
Pogba is one of the main reasons why they will be competing for top 4.
Definitely.
But with the transfer window, looming, you never
Mhm.
know he might if he's
Might
on his way
leave.
out
Yeah.
or but because
Mhm.
now United haven't signed anyone, I think he stays. And
Mhm.
Ed Woodward will do everything to keep him, hopefully, for the United fans.
Definitely. You
So,
can't lose a player like Pogba.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Very yes.
yeah. And Vinay, it all comes down to our predictions now. And
Mhm.
let's start with Liverpool versus Norwich.
Okay. Liverpool, I'd say they're in good form, but in the preseason, I observed a bit of defensive lapses. So, but they still have a very incredible firepower. So I'll be going 3-1.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3-1. Okay, I don't have Allison in my FPL. so, so, so Liverpool, you can leak goals today. Anyway, West Ham versus Manchester City.
Uh, they are really solid, and even in attack they are crazy. I don't know how West Ham is going to gel with a new team, so I would say 3-0 Man City.
3-0 to Manchester City is what Vinay is saying. And Vinay, let's quickly get to your predictions on Spurs versus Aston Villa. And then let's go on to Newcastle, Arsenal and Manchester United versus Chelsea.
Mhm. So Tottenham, Spurs versus Aston Villa, I'd say 2-1
Okay.
probably. Yeah, 2-1. Arsenal Newcastle is a very tough one to call because Newcastle, you don't know which team turns up, even though they don't have Rafa.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I've noticed that Aubameyang is on fire.
Yeah.
So
In
I
my
would say,
FPL, Oba.
yeah.
So,
So I would say something like, and the defensive lapses. So I would say something like, 1-2
okay.
Arsenal. And the big
If
one,
not for the defensive if for a lot of defensive lapses, I would predict a draw. But
mm,
seeing the last away game of the season where we got that brilliant win against Burnley and
yeah,
seeing Aubameyang from anything, hopefully a win for Arsenal. I am going with a 2-1 or a 3-1.
mm,
We will concede and
mm,
we will surely concede. If we manage to keep a clean sheet, I'm treating you on the next meet
I'll be
wherever
looking forward to it.
yeah, look, you can star mark this episode. You can
Yeah.
send me a clip of this. And
Yeah.
on to the big one, Vinay, which you want to predict. It's Manchester United versus Chelsea
Yeah.
at Old Trafford.
So this one is, we have defensive lapses as well. United does too, to some extent. So, and it's a big game. So I would be saying but I would go, it's going to be a draw. It's going to be a score draw of 2-2.
Okay,
That's
fair
it.
enough, fair enough. And guys, just a heads up again, it's almost time for the Premier League, just 2 hours away.
Yeah.
The first game is Liverpool versus Norwich. You
Yeah.
have West Ham versus Man City. Let's give you a heads up of the other games as well. Bournemouth entertain Sheffield United, the newly promoted side from the Championship. You have Burnley versus Southampton. You have Crystal Palace versus Everton, and Everton have also done some significant business. Moise Keane from Juventus, and Alex Iwobi from Arsenal. Also you have Watford versus Brighton. You have Spurs versus Aston Villa, and we missed one fixture from Sunday, which is Leicester versus Wolves. So Leicester versus Wolves is 7 versus 8 in the Premier League from last season. And even that could turn out to be a feisty affair on Sunday. Well, Vinay, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
We've kind of touched a few topics. We haven't finished many, but there's always a next time, and we can always get into some special episodes where we can record and distribute this. Make sure to send the link to all your friends, and a great debut for you on the podcast. So looking forward to meeting you next week when we record a very special episode on the Forza India Academy. Can't wait for that personally.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, Prasad, and hope all of you are ready with your fantasy Premier League teams.
11:30 p.m. is the deadline now, and not 4 p.m. tomorrow. It's 11:30 p.m. because the first game starts in a matter of moment. Well,
all the
Vinay.
best to everyone.
Yeah.
All the best to everyone who's supporting their teams, and hope we have a great season because football is back.
Yeah, football is back. Goosebumps there. And so is your podcast, football podcast, the Panenka View. Your host, the Panenka View. Host Prasad is here, and the other co-hosts will be back soon in the coming days. Until then, here's your host Prasad signing out with Vinay on this episode of the Panenka View podcast.
Thank you.